Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Akhil and welcome back to another special video, guys. And this month's special video is going to be focusing on my top 50 favorite superheroes of all time, guys. So this is once again another different type of topic for these type of videos. And we're just going to jump straight into it, guys, because honestly, there's 50 of these and obviously you guys watching just don't want to be here all day. I certainly don't want to be here all day talking about these superheroes, so we're just going to jump right into it. But before we get started, obviously this is my opinion and everyone else has a different opinion, and these superheroes are on this list based on how they've impacted me throughout the years, whether seeing them in comic form or reading them in comic form or seeing them for other types of media, TV, movies, games, whatever. So there's that. And also I did make a top 100, but I just decided to share my top 50 because that would really take a while. So that's that. Anyway, let's just jump right into it. And starting off with number 50, we have Ben 10. Yes, he is a superhero. I am including him on this list, even though he's not like a Marvel or DC type hero or some of the other comic publishers as well. But he is considered a superhero. He can transform to alien, so that's definitely a superpower in my eyes. I hate people that say, "Oh, Harry Potter's a superhero, Luke Skywalker." They're not really superheroes. Fantasy sci-fi, that's its own thing. Ben 10, yes, it's sci-fi, but it's also considered a superhero show. So there's that. But anyway, yeah. Definitely a childhood hero of mine. Was the first superhero I watched as a kid, and yeah, it's just really, really special, for sure. And I feel like kids today really don't know much about Ben 10 now because of the media they have. And yeah, but honestly, I still feel like Ben 10 is still somewhat popular, but not as much as he used to be. But regardless, he definitely played a big part in my life, and I really loved watching Ben 10 as a kid. So yeah, and the fact that he can transform to different aliens is really cool, and we get to see him grow up over time. Yeah, but anyway, I'm wasting already too much time talking about one superhero. We got 49 more to go. So number 49 is Ant-Man, and Ant-Man, specifically, I'd want to say this is Hank Pym. Now, Scott Lang, we got Scott Lang in the MCU, which it's still weird as to why we got that version of Ant-Man and not Hank Pym. But anyway, Hank Pym, the OG Ant-Man from the comics, one of the OG Avengers from the comics, one of the founding members, I would say. I love this character. He's one of the most underrated superheroes ever, and as we go through the list, you'll see definitely some superheroes that I do personally consider to be underrated, I would say. But Ant-Man is underrated because of who he is. Like, you tell someone their favorite superhero, one of their favorite superheroes is Ant-Man, they'll laugh at you probably. But seriously, he is that guy. He can shrink down into like as literally an ant, hence the name, and befriend ants. He can also become Giant Man, but specifically the Ant-Man version of the character is really awesome and cool and interesting. Very creative, and I honestly think this is one of the most creative superheroes I think Marvel's ever done and come up with, because honestly, it's a guy that can shrink down to miniature size, get things done, and yeah, it's just really cool and clever. The name is not the best, but I still think the character is awesome. All right, 48 is one of the coolest superheroes ever, and there's some superheroes on this list that I'll mention some of them right now, as actually soon, that maybe I don't know a ton about them, but I just find them really cool and badass and awesome, and they look cool. And 48 is the Punisher, and Punisher is one of those characters that I just really think is just cool and awesome and badass. And yeah, look, I know that he lost his family, and he has a tragic backstory. One of these heroes that has a tragic backstory is not that a bunch don't, but a lot do. But anyway, he's just awesome. I love the Punisher skull. The logo is pretty damn iconic now, honestly. And John Berthel's performance, just to add on to it, is really, really good as the character. But overall, I just love Frank. He's awesome. And yeah, he's one of the best, I guess you could say, anti-heroes ever. Is he an anti-hero? That's the question. That's really up for debate. Speaking of which, 47 is Blade. Blade is awesome. Blade is cool. The fact that he's half human, half vampire. I'm pretty sure that's correct, right? Yeah. But anyway, yeah, he hunts vampires and all that. Look, we never got Blade in the MCU yet. We still haven't gotten him. But overall, I just love the character overall. He just got this cool, badass vibe to him. And I never watched the old Blade films. I don't really care for them. But when Wesley Snipes showed up in Deadpool Wolverine, that was awesome. So, yeah. All right, 46 is Ghost Rider, one of the coolest looking superheroes of all time. Seriously, this guy just has aura just based on how he looks. Whoever came up with the design deserves, like, so much praise. So there's that. But yeah, Johnny Blaze. I know there's the other version of Ghost Rider. Is it Robbie Reyes? I can't remember. I think it is. But anyway, another character that I really want to see in the MCU at some point, and I'm just really curious to see who plays him. Is it Ryan Gosling? Who really knows? But anyway, regardless, Ghost Rider is cool, awesome. He has a motorbike. He has changed a flaming skull. His head literally is a flaming skull. Like, what more could you ask for? Such a cool character. All right, 45 is Star-Lord. And before you guys say anything, no, this is not just based on the MCU Star-Lord. This is based on the Star-Lord overall in general, like in the comics as well. And Star-Lord in the comics is so much better than he is in the movies. In the comics, he's like more serious, less jokey, and still fun to read, but just very different. The only stuff of Star-Lord I read is in the Annihilation Saga. And let me tell you, he's awesome there. Him and Nova have a really great bond and relationship, and I would love to see maybe that in the MCU in a way. Unfortunately, though, due to Chris Pratt's age and how much we've already seen of the character, I doubt that's gonna happen. But regardless, though, Star-Lord is awesome in general overall. I love what they did with Star-Lord in the movies, made him like really funny and all that. But in the comics, there's a different side to him. So overall, in general, I love Star-Lord in both ways, but that's why overall in general, I love the character. All right, 44 is Namor, and this is another character people really love to laugh at because he's just like Marvel's version of Aquaman. But Namor did come before Aquaman. In fact, he's one of the first big superheroes to ever exist. I bet you didn't know that. So during the late 30s, DC had Superman and Batman. Wonder Woman, I believe, was only in the early 40s. And for Marvel, they had Namor and they had Human Torch, but this is a different type of Human Torch, not the one in the Fantastic Four. But anyway, Namor is one of the oldest superheroes ever, and it took them so long to get Namor into a live-action movie. And it wasn't until 2022, Black Panther's Wakanda Forever, that we got to see that character finally realized, even though it wasn't like how he looks like in the comics, but still, I love Namor. His relationship with Black Panther, especially in the Jonathan Hickman New Avengers run, is so interesting. Yeah, and the way he writes his character is really interesting too. And yeah, like Namor just has a very interesting vibe and personality, very like cold and calculative, I would say a bit. And the fact that he's also a mutant as well is really interesting, really cool. So there's that. But yeah, overall, I love Namor, and the fact that he's Aquaman before Aquaman even existed is really, really interesting. Kind of like, well, another character we're going to be talking about very soon. But yeah, I love Namor. He's great. The King of Atlantis. Or in the MCU, they call what? Talokan, right? Yeah. But I still really like the character a lot. All right, 43 is Beast. And I feel like every superhero team kind of has that animal, monster, creature type, like to mascot in a way. I would say, not to be mean, but I'm just saying. But anyway, in the X-Men, they have Beast, and Beast is awesome. Hank McCoy is great. He's one of the smartest superheroes ever. People forget that, and I feel like they really undermine how smart he is in the movies, and I just want to see a smart Beast overall in the movies. And of course, in the X-Men anime series, he always has to say the word fascinating, which is hilarious. But yeah, I love Beast. Beast is awesome. I mean, who doesn't love Beast? He's just such a really likable, fun character overall. He's not my favorite X-Men, and he's not the only X-Men on this week. It's all mutant. There's going to be a bunch more coming up as we go along. But yeah, Beast at 43. I love the guy, but not as much as his X-Men friends. All right, 42 is Shazam. And Shazam is awesome. Shazam is such a cool idea for a superhero. This boy saying this name and he just transformed into an adult and he has this really cool costume. I love and adore the first Shazam movie. And the second one I actually did like. I know people didn't, but I liked it. But overall, the character is just really cool. There's some aura to him as well. And that's the thing. Some of these superheroes generally have aura to them, I would say. And Shazam definitely does in a way. And he has one of the most iconic supervillains, in my opinion, of all time with Black Adam, which sadly we never got to see both of them fight on the big screen, which is kind of like the Venom case. Venom got a whole trilogy without Spider-Man being in any of them. And the same can be said for Black Adam. We got a Black Adam movie without Shazam. Just so random. And I actually personally like the Black Adam movie, okay? But anyway, Shazam, love this character. Such a cool concept and idea for a character. Again, a kid becoming superhero is awesome. And yeah, I'm not crazy in like the rest of the Shazam family, but the character itself is still really cool. Alright, 41 is Hawkeye. And another character that gets a lot of like hate and shitted on a ton. And I can understand why. He's just a guy with a bow and arrow. What can he do? But in my opinion, he actually provides some really great tactical support overall to the team. So there's that. And yes, the purple costume at times can kind of be a bit weird and strange, but at times it does really work very well. So there's that. But yeah, I love Hawkeye. I think he's really underrated. It doesn't help that Jeremy Renner played him very well in the MCU. And I personally loved the Hawkeye show on Disney Plus. And some of the stuff I've read with Hawkeye in the comics, especially Jonathan Hickman's Avengers run, that's really, really good. So there's that. So yeah, I love Hawkeye. Not much else to say about him. He's great. He's just not a guy with a bow and arrow though. Don't underestimate Hawkeye. Alright. 40 is the Power Rangers. And I know I'm cheating here putting the whole Power Rangers team on here, but I do want to specify this is the OG team. Jason, Billy, Zach, Trini, and Kimberly. Yes, and I guess Tommy as well, Tommy Oliver. Now, the Power Rangers are on here because yes, they are superheroes. They are actually considered superheroes, but I cannot separate them. Who has the Red Ranger just on the list by himself, or who has the Green Ranger just on the list by himself, or the Pink Ranger? You know. And when I read the Power Rangers comics, they were obviously all together. I didn't just read the tales of the Red Ranger, basically. You know. But yeah, I love the Power Rangers, this specific version of the team, whether it's in the comics, whether it's in the 2017 reboot movie, which I thought was okay, but I did like that cast that they got for those characters. And overall, I just really dig the Doug is still to this day dig the idea of this team. I mean, yes, of course, there's so many ripples like Voltron and stuff like that, but Power Rangers will always hold a special place in my heart, especially Power Rangers Samurai, the show I watched when I was younger. That was the only Power Rangers show I watched as a kid, so that was my Power Rangers. But of course, the OG team is where it's at. And I really want a legitimate, really solid, proper reboot. Yes, the 2017 one has its fans, but I just thought it was okay. So there's that. Alright, 39 is Storm. And we haven't really talked about female superheroes at all on this list. Well, now we are. So if you guys thought I was being sexist, I'm not. Storm is awesome. Storm is great. And there are some female superheroes on this list that maybe or maybe not, I might have a crush on them. So there's that. And hey, I'm not the only one. There are people that do have crushes on female superheroes. So there's that. Anyway, Storm, she's very powerful. I mean, technically you can say the queen of the weather in the Marvel universe, because literally she can control the weather. She's very, very strong. I would love to see a Storm and Thor fight. That would be awesome. So there's that. Yeah, but I love Storm. Very powerful, very strong. Not much else I can say about her. And of course, Halle Berry did a pretty solid job playing her in the older X-Men films. Alright, now these next four are all the TMNT, and I could not separate them overall. Like I mean I could separate them, that's what I'm trying to say. And it's only just because they all have their own distinct and unique personalities. So it's not like Power Rangers where I group them together. Here I just have to separate them, even though the Power Rangers also have their own personalities well, obviously, and they each bring something to the tea. But these characters are so iconic, I had to separate them. Alright, so 39 is Donatello. He's my least favorite out of the four of them. He's the one with the brains, the smartest guy I have in the team for sure. But he's my least favorite because he's not as fun, as entertaining, and as badass and as cool as his brothers. Speaking of which, 37 is Raphael. Raphael is a cool macho guy in the team. Fun fact, Alan Richardson actually voiced him in the 2014 and 2016 TMNT live action film. I bet you probably didn't know that, so there's that. But anyway, Raphael is awesome, and yeah, that's all I can really say. Alright, 36 is Michelangelo, the funny fun guy, one of the funniest superheroes in my opinion. Honestly, I can say that because yes, again, these characters are superheroes. They weren't comics originally, then they had an anime show and all that. But yeah, I love Mikey. Who doesn't love Mikey? He's hilarious. Alright, 35 is Leonardo, the leader of the team. And yes, I do have some biasness towards leaders of teams, but I think he's one of the best leaders in fictional media ever by far. I feel like people undermine how great of a leader he is. Like if you read some of the IDW comics that I read, the new ones, they do some great stuff with him, and I love what they did with the character in the Mutant Mayhem movie, even though it was more the juvenile, young adult teen side of things, but they are called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so yeah, you got to give them the teenage side too, right? And I love what they did with Leo there too. So there's that. He's not just a cool, badass leader, but he's also got a genuine warm and soft side to him too. So there's that. All right. Now, 34 is going to be Green Arrow. And yes, I do prefer him over Hawkeye, not just because he came first. He came first, right? Yeah. But he's got this very fun side to him. And I know in the comics, he's a bit like Robin Hood. But then in the show, they made him freaking Batman, which that's not how the character's supposed to be at all. I don't know why Arrow made him like Bruce Wayne and Batman, but I know Green Arrow is very different to that. So here's hoping James Gunn gives us an actual good Green Arrow. And overall, yeah, I really like the character. I know I'm not saying a lot, but again, we don't want to be here all day, and it would just be me repeating the same stuff. So yeah, I love Green Arrow. Cool outfit as well, and yeah, really excited to see him in the DCU. All right, 33, Scarlet Witch, and yes, this one I have to say, one of the most attractive female superheroes ever. I mean, obviously, people love her. The costume, it is there too, so there's that. But Scarlet Witch is so powerful, and the fact that she has connections to the Avengers, to the Brotherhood of Mutants, and the X-Men is really, really cool and interesting. So she's got all these different dynamics too, kind of like Namor as well. But yeah, Wanda's awesome, really attractive. I'm sorry, I have to say that. And again, it's the outfit, so there's that. But yeah, she's very powerful, and it's part of a very powerful family too. I mean, her dad's Magneto, so there's that. All right, 32 is Black Panther. And we got another king on this list. Yes, I love Namor, but Black Panther, I just prefer as a better ruling a king overall, I would say. It's really sad that we only got one solo T'Challa movie in the MCU. And overall, I really loved the character overall. And it's really sad again that Chadwick Boseman only got to play him once in the standalone movie, but it is what it is. But I love Black Panther. Again, going back to Jonathan Hickman's New Avengers run, what he did with the character, that was great. And yeah, Black Panther's awesome. A very cool character, very awesome outfit, and he's got aura too. So there's that. Alright, 31 is Doctor Strange, another very powerful OP based type character like Scarlet Witch. And I will say that Doctor Strange has kind of a few villains on his honestly that is just pretty iconic now. There's Dormammu, yeah, but you also got Mordor, Cassilius, I didn't even know if you want to call him that, but iconic. But yeah, he's got a few villains, not just one. Everyone thinks of Dormammu, but there's also other villains I would say as well. But yeah, I love Doctor Strange. He's very powerful. Benedict Cumberbatch does a great job playing in the MCU, and yeah, there's not much I can say about him. And again, the fact that he was part of the New Avengers, which includes Bane with just a bunch of very smart guys. People forget how smart Doctor Strange is too. So yeah. Alright, number 30 is Cyclops, another great leader. One of my favorite leaders again in fictional media. I can't wait to see Cyclops in Doomsday. That is the character I'm most excited to see. More than Doctor Doom as well, I can't wait. That'll be probably second or top 5. But overall, I love Cyclops. Cyclops is great. He's very powerful when he needs to be. And yeah, I just really wish that the older X-Men movies just showcase that power even more. But no, regardless, I love Cyclops. He's very powerful. Scott Summers is great. He has aura. And of course, the line to me, my X-Men, I want to hear that in live action. I feel like we will get it. Alright, 29 is Batgirl, another character that I guess I'm someone in the middle of whether or not I'm attracted to her or not. But yeah, Barbara Gordon, very interesting character. This is obviously before she becomes a Oracle. Or is this after? Actually, sometimes they mess up the war, I would say, in a bit, in a way. But anyway, Batgirl's awesome. Who doesn't love Batgirl? One of the iconic DC female superheroes out there. And yeah, she doesn't do a lot because, I mean, she just fights crime. That's really it. But kind of attractive. All right, 28 is Cyborg. Cyborg is so underrated, kind of overhated. And yes, the Teen Titans are one of my favorite superhero teams of all time. That's why almost every single one of them are actually in the top 50. In fact, now we're in the top 30, so there's that. Only one did not make it, and that's Starfire. Moment of silence for Starfire. She's awesome, very powerful, but I don't love her as much as the other 4. But Cyborg is great. Yes, I mean, he's technically like the Terminator. He's like a robot, but I love the design, and I want to see what they do with Cyborg in a Teen Titans movie or whatever in the DCU. Yeah, poor Victor Stone, man. Dude was just trying to live a normal life, and then he became this machine. I'm not going to say monster because that's not what he is. He's far from it. Anyone who says that is wrong. So yeah. All right, 27 is Raven. Goth girl, goth queen herself, Raven. Everyone loves her. Who doesn't love Raven? And yeah, she's just very powerful. It doesn't help that her dad is Trigon. That must suck. But yeah, overall, I love Raven. She's very powerful, very strong. Yeah, that's all I can say. 26 is Gambit. Gambit is awesome. One of the most entertaining superheroes of all time, honestly. And the fact that he uses playing cards as his weapon in a way is just really cool. Such a cool concept for a superhero. Who would have thought that this would actually work? All right, 25 is Iceman. I mean, Bobby Drake is awesome, and I love what they did with Iceman in like There's a Future Past, where like it feels like Shawn Ashmore was brought back to actually make the character a little more badass and cool. I mean, he kind of was in the older ones, but I feel like the best version of Iceman, in my opinion, that we've gotten in live action has been in There's a Future Past, especially the opening scene. I mean, not before, well, we think he dies, but he actually doesn't. But yeah, I love Iceman. Bobby Drake is awesome. He's gay, isn't he? Right? I believe he is. So does that. And look, if they want to make Iceman gay in the MCU, so be it. But it's not gonna affect my love for the character. I still think he's awesome. I mean, he is literally an Iceman, guys. Come on, what more can I say about that? All right, 24 is Shadowcat, otherwise known as Kitty Pryde. This is a character that I don't know if I can say I have a crush on because the age really throws me off. But I believe she is over 18, over 20, so I think we're good. But if not, then obviously that's wrong. But regardless, she's awesome, really likable and lovable, and I I love her relationship with Wolverine in this one comic I read. So there's that. That would be a nice father-daughter dynamic if they actually did that, instead of Wolverine and Rogue like what happened before. But yeah, I think she's awesome and one of my favorite X-Men ever. All right. 23 is Nightcrawler. This is my brother's favorite X-Men and mutant, actually. And he's actually my second favorite overall. Yeah. I love Nightcrawler. Who doesn't love Kurt? He's a teleporter. I mean, that's just one of the coolest powers ever. In my opinion, if I could have any superpower, I would have Nightcrawler's power because he can just teleport. I mean, that's so amazing, so effective. Yeah. I love Nightcrawler. And we never really get to see his sword. I got to see his sword on the big screen. So, yeah, I would love to see that. That would be awesome. All right, 22 is Beast Boy. Again, a very fun, funny, likable character. The fact that he can pretty much transform into any animal is great. I think it's just any animal, right? Nothing really else. But yeah, I love Beast Boy. And I actually didn't mind what they did with Beast Boy in the live-action Titan show overall. All right, 21 is Nova. A character that is just so awesome, has so much aura. If you don't know anything about Nova, just go read the Annihilation Saga and you'll be sold. Nova is such a cool character. I've been waiting for this character for so many years now in the MCU and we still haven't got him. Come on, Feige, just give us this character. But yeah, I love Nova. He's basically Marvel's Green Lantern, except it's very different. Like the way Hal talks to the ring is, I guess, the way the helmet talks to Nova in a way, and it's very cool and interesting. And yeah, and by the way, I'm talking about Richard Rider, not Sam Alexander, but Richard Rider. All right, guys, now getting into the top 20. Number 20 is Black Widow. Everyone loves Black Widow. Who doesn't love Black Widow? It doesn't help that she's in black leather, which is obviously really attractive as well. But the fact that she's basically a Russian spy as well is really cool and interesting. And I wish we got an R-rated Black Widow movie, but in this day and age, I don't know if that will be good for the studio. But regardless, though, I love Black Widow. Who doesn't love Black Widow? She's not my second favorite female superhero, actually. There's another female superhero above Black Widow that I like more. So yeah, but she's awesome. She's just a girl with guns, but very interesting character and an interesting backstory. All right, 19 is Robin, and specifically Dick Grayson and Damian Wayne. Now, Jason and Tim, no disrespect to them, I think they're solid Robins, but in my opinion, Dick Grayson and Damian Wayne are my favorite Robins. I love Damian Wayne, he's my second favorite Robin, and of course Dick is my guy, and the fact that he becomes Nightwing is really cool and awesome as well. Yeah, I love Robin. Robin is awesome. The greatest psychic ever in my opinion. All right, 18 is Human Torch. Johnny Storm is awesome, and he's basically a good part to a counterbalance to Iceman in a way. Yeah, I would love to see actually both of them, Johnny and Bobby, actually team up in the MC. Fire Nice, that would be really cool actually. First, I want to see them have a bit of beef, and then I want to see them actually team up. I know that I might be asking a lot from just that alone, but I feel like it might be possible. So there's that. But yeah, Human Torch is great. I love Chris Evans' portrayal of it. Michael B. Jordan, weird casting overall, and then Joseph Quinn, I think, did a really good job playing the character. Yeah, I love Human Torch. He's great and very powerful actually as a superhero. All right, 17, The Thing. Who doesn't love Ben Grimm? He's awesome. It's clobbering time, one of the most iconic catchphrases and quotes and lines in all of comic history in general. Yeah, I love The Thing. Just an awesome character. And I also do want to see The Thing versus Hulk as well. All right, 16 is Silver Surfer. Now, look, we never got Norrin Rad in the Fantastic Four First Steps movie, but when he shows up, it's, I'm sure, going to be worth the wait. Silver Surfer has so much aura. You don't even know how much aura this guy has. Just go read some of the comics and go look at some of the images. Just looking at that alone, it just screams aura. I can't wait to see Norrin Rad, the actual legitimate OG Silver Surfer, on the big screen. That'll be awesome. I can't wait for that. All right, number 15 is Supergirl. And this is actually my second favorite female superhero of all time. Superman's cousin, Kara Zor-El, obviously very powerful. We are going to see her in her own movie in a couple months' time this year, actually. So there's that. But yeah, I love Supergirl. Really likable, really awesome. And I'm interested to see where the character goes beyond just the first movie in this year's Supergirl movie. I know she's going to be in Man of Tomorrow next year. I believe that's confirmed, right? So yeah, let's see what happens. Alright, 14 is Thor, and look, to all the Thor fans, I apologize that he's not in the top 10, but this is my own personal list, right? So, yeah. But anyway, I love Thor. Who doesn't love Thor, the God of Thunder? Very OP, very strong, very badass, a badass. Hemsworth did such a great job playing the character. Yeah, I love Thor. He's awesome. Speaking of awesome godly-like characters, even though Thor is a god, 13 is Aquaman. I love Aquaman. I love Aquaman more than Namor. Why? Because he just has a cool, interesting character design personally, and yeah, I love his trident. Yeah, I love Aquaman, and I'll be curious to see how they handle Aquaman in the movies. And I want a younger Aquaman. No offense to Jason Momoa, I thought he was great as a character, but still, I want a younger Aquaman. All right, number 12, the most underrated superhero of all time, in my opinion, Martian Manhunter. This guy deserves so much more love. I don't know how, and I don't care how we get him, whether it's in a movie or TV show. I want to see Martian Manhunter in live action again, because what we got in the DCEU was really, really absolutely nothing. It was just such a waste of a character, in my opinion. I mean, when he showed up, it was cool. I was like, oh, it's Martian Manhunter. But yeah, I love this character. John Jones is great. He has an interesting backstory. That alone could be one whole movie by itself. We don't need a Martian Manhunter trilogy. Just give him one movie. That's all it is. So yeah, I love Martian Manhunter. Such a cool character. He's not DC's Vision. He's way more than that, I would say. Alright, number 11, my favorite female superhero of all time, and to anyone wondering why she's not in the top 10, no, it's not because I'm sexist, it's just because I personally prefer these other 10 more over her. But anyway, number 11 is Wonder Woman. What can I say? The most attractive female superhero ever. Obviously, people love her. Gal Gadot, I personally thought did a pretty damn good job playing the character. It's sad she never got a full trilogy, but whatever. Anyway, regardless though, I'm curious to see who is casted as Diana in the in the DCU. Yeah, I love Wonder Woman. Very strong, very powerful. If Superman is, I guess, the king of the DCU, she's the queen of the DC or DC universe in general. All right, now getting in the top 10, guys. My top 10 favorite superheroes of all time. This has pretty much been the same for the past almost 10 years now, it feels like. Anyway, number 10 is Green Lantern, and I'm gonna shout out not just Hal Jordan, but also Jon Stewart. Both these characters is what let me rephrase that. Both these two versions of this character is what made me fall in love with the character. No disrespect to Guy, no disrespect to Kyle, and the OG Alan Scott, even though I don't really know much about him, barely read anything about him. Simon Baz, I also don't really care, and Jessica Cruz as well. But Hal and John is what made me fall in love with this character. I love Jon Stewart, who was actually the first Green Lantern I got interested in as a person of color who's Indian, and watching an African American superhero that in a cartoon and making me fall in love with that character as a kid, is really special to me. That means a lot. Like, I'm not even the same background and race and ethnicity as a character, but I love the character. And then, of course, Hal Jordan. When I read Jeff Johns' Green Lantern run from the 2000s, I absolutely fell in love with the character. I also love the character in the DC animated universe, like in Justice League War and stuff. Really cool. I love this character. I adore this character. And I'm so excited to see both of them this year in Lanterns, despite Hal being too old. So there's that. All right, number 9 is Daredevil. Yeah, it's Daredevil. What can I say? Daredevil is having a great time now on TV with Born Again Season 2. Yeah, I love Daredevil. What an awesome character. And definitely one of Marvel's best. Not the best backstory personally, but definitely has one of the best villains ever. Yeah, he also has multiple great villains too. Daredevil, of course. You got Bullseye, you got Kingpin, Elektra, I guess, can be considered a villain. Punisher can be considered a villain. Yeah, what a great villain for Daredevil to face overall. But yeah, I love this character. Great stuff. And I want to see him in Spidey in the MCU at some point. All right, number 8 is The Flash. Specifically Barry Allen, but shout out to Wally West as well. Also, the character part of the DC animated TV universe, if you want to call it that, even though that's not what it's called, but the Justice League cartoon from the 2000s. I actually did not know that was Wally until like so many years later. But I still love that version of the Flash. But Barry is my guy. Barry's my guy. I read an entire Flash run from him from the New 52, and it was fantastic. It was so good. Yeah, I love the Flash. What an awesome character this is. And yeah, he's the fastest man alive for sure. Speaking of characters that can go very fast, but is also very strong, number 7 is Superman. I mean, obviously, you got to put the Man of Steel himself on the list, right? If you're making a top 10 list of superheroes, Superman for sure will be somewhere there. Whether he's in the top 5 or not. For me, he's not quite top 5 because personally, I just find him too OP personally. But I love Superman. I don't own any standalone Superman comics, but I love Superman when he interacts with other characters too. I feel like Superman is more interesting when he's a team player and not by himself. I know that might sound harsh, but that's just how I feel. Alright, number 6 is Hulk. Another very strong, powerful character. Hulk is just more cool and interesting in my opinion. The backstory is also more interesting as well. Yeah, I love Hulk. The most badass ultimate monster in all of comic history. Alright, number 5 is Iron Man. I mean, this character is like fun and flashy. I mean, it doesn't help that his alter ego, Tony Stark, is, well, like I just said, fun and flashy. But yeah, I love Iron Man, the different suits, yeah, Tony's personality when he's fighting as well, how he interacts with the other Avengers. Yeah, Iron Man's great, but Tony's what makes his character work overall. And of course, shout out to RDJ playing the character. Alright, number 4 is Captain America. And this is this Mount Rushmore for me. These top 4 is my Mount Rushmore superheroes. I don't care. This is definitive for me. There's a reason why I love all 4 of these characters. And I think you might know who they are, because there's some big ones I've not mentioned yet. But anyway, number 4 is Captain America. What can I say? He has a shield. I think this is the definitive American hero in my own personal opinion. I'm sorry, Superman, but his name is literally Captain America. So, yeah. I mean, he's got the shield, he's got the outfit. Yeah, this is basically America's definitive superhero. So, yeah. To all the Superman fans, I can understand why, truth, justice, and the American way, but he's not called Super America. It's just... Okay, that was bad. But anyway, Superman, I feel like he's more global. Captain America is more American than Superman is. So, yeah. And I love what they did with the character in the MCU. Yeah, awesome. Great character. All right, number 3, Spider-Man. I mean, obviously, who doesn't love Spidey? Everyone loves Spidey. The second best rogues gallery of villains of all time. And the fact that he's just an everyday kid, an everyday guy, just going through life, the ups and downs of it, and still has to be a superhero is awesome. That's what makes his character really interesting and cool. And yeah, I love Spidey. I can't wait to see Brand New Day this year. Alright, number 2 is Wolverine, my favorite Marvel superhero of all time. Yeah, I love Wolverine. Who doesn't love Wolverine? He's got claws, the yellow suit is iconic, he loves saying the word bub to pretty much everyone. Yeah, Wolverine's awesome, and Hugh Jackman did such an amazing job as the character. And finally, number 1, we all know who it is, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Batman. I don't care what anyone says. Batman is the GOAT. All right, he is. He's one of my top 10, if not top 5, maybe fictional characters of all time. I love Batman so much. I have one section in my room just dedicated to Batman, and yeah, and I don't even know if I want to give some of those comics away, despite me uh just reading books now. So yeah, but I love Batman. The greatest rogue gallery of villains ever. I mean, so many great villains, so many great stories. Batman in every form of media is just amazing. TV, movies, video games. You know, he even has theme park rides, like a bunch of them. And I went on one, and it's one of my favorite rides ever. Yeah, Batman's awesome. I love this character so much. He means so much to me. I'm sure he means so much to you too. And I don't care that he doesn't have powers. I don't care that he can just fight. That's what makes a character interesting. The best characters, in my opinion, are the ones that don't need to be super crazy powerful. They can just be a normal average guy and you still can root for them. So does that. And yes, probably still, in my opinion, the saddest backstory in any in terms of any superhero ever. The fact that he lost both his parents in front of him in Crime Alley at age 10 is crazy. Well, I guess that's what the age is, but that's what I think. But guys, that's it. That is my list of my top 50 favorite superheroes of all time. I apologize if this went on for longer than it should have, but that's all I really have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching this list, man. That I think actually took a while. I don't know how long the recording is until I press stop. So it's that, but that's all I have to say for now. What do you guys think about this ranking? And again, sorry if it went on for longer than expected, but all I can say is don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. My name's Akil, otherwise known as the Comic Director, and I'm signing out.